Nasty sell-off right into power hour.
Ouch.
ES losing that pivot. 41.78 still support. How's silver doing? Silver's still holding up. Neo pulling back with the markets. Yeah, so is everything else. Everything pulling back. Bitcoin pulling back as well. Guess AMC and GameStop are still the VIX of equities. AMC having a really nice day, up almost 13%. GameStop also up about 16%. GameStop is a little extended here. Might pull back a little bit. The thing about GameStop is this the massive move that it had all the way up to like 480. You didn't really find any value up there, so if it wanted to go higher, there's really no resistance above you. It's all volume based. How much volume can you get to push this up? Biggest resistance is around 355, which would be a damn near double from here, so you definitely could go higher. You do have earnings, I believe, next week, or is it this week? That says the 27th on TradingView. Not sure if that's accurate. ES pulling back to a big volume shelf around 41.78, so as long as you hold that, it should be okay. Putting in a small 5-minute bull div on ES. It's trying to bounce here. You have not had a single 5-minute candle above the 50 moving average all day. So, pretty weak. You've lost multiple pivots. You'd want to see this close back above like 41.95, which would be a pretty strong bounce on power hour. Failing back inside this wedge is not good. XAG still slow climbing, but it hasn't broken that that weekly pivot, which is putting in the ascending triangle high. If we can get above like 28.50 on the spot price, we should start to see a very strong market for silver. Gold, on the other hand, it's not in an ascending triangle, it's in more of a bearish channel breakout. So we did have a bearish channel down here. So it's already entering that kind of vertical zone. But silver still needs to break out. 28.50, 29, you should start seeing a ramp up pretty hard. SLV is flipping a weekly pivot. It's also flipping a daily pivot. XAG is flipping a weekly pivot. Still failing a monthly pivot though. Coinbase having a good day, up almost 7%. I think gold's going to like 1950. 1900 was our first target. You've already hit that. I told you guys in the summary markets, as long as you stayed above that trend, it should be fine. We're breaking the 50-week moving average. We're breaking the downtrend. And gold should easily continue. 1950 pivot would be the obvious target. This bulldog is just, it's absolutely ridiculous how clean this bulldog was. And it called the bottom perfectly. Had a little bit of resistance on the head of the bulldog, right around the 50-day moving average. And then you popped above it, reclaimed VWAP, ripped. Bitcoin's still resting above this daily pivot. He came back down to retest it. Still resting on top of that. Failing the weekly pivot though. Something to note on Bitcoin is you've closed a black bar on the OTS, meaning the downtrend is strong. Like you're entering a downtrend, you have decent sell volume. You can see kind of the last few times we turned black, you had some pretty nasty pullbacks. And then when it turns back to being white, it goes bullish again. So when this turns back to being white on the OTS, or green if you're using the default colors, that will be quite bullish again. But for now, this black bar is telling you that the bears are strong. You can see when the daily turned black, you had a few traps, so it likes to do this a lot, where it gives you these little traps. That's why you always want to make sure what kind of trend you're in. Then you had those black to white shifts, giving you those reversal signals. But now, look at what we're trapping. You can see right there, we switched into trapping the bulls. So it went from black to white and then back to black. So giving you that little bull trap right here. And then now we're back to being black. So the bears are in control. So now we gotta wait for that flip back to being white. See if the bulls can come in. Very far away from the 21 EMA. Very far away from the 50. So we are definitely extended. Finding a little bit of support kind of around that 36,000 mark. But it doesn't really look bullish until we either consolidate here for quite some time, or we quickly reclaim like 45,000. Neo failing that daily pivot, not looking too good. Sell signals on the OTS. So we can't pull back very deep here. It pulls back below like 34. It's going to go probably for a new low. So we want to see a strong breakout of this pivot in the next day or two. Going on Mucky, Frank, Justo. Mucky said, do you think once 4,000 hits, it'll be a struggle to get back an all-time high? What do you mean on ES? I think if we can just stay above this wedge, man, it will be up only season again. Oh, you can't mean ES. What do you mean 4,000? ES is already above 4,000. Jets still looks good, man. Jets is still following our plan. This pullback is a little quicker than we anticipated, but we anticipated a bulldog here where we had a little bit of consolidation, then a breakout. So this little consolidation here is not worrying me. Nasty candle though. I don't like today's candle. Definitely not good. But as long as we stay above like 25.80, I think it's okay to go higher. But definitely today's candle's not good. But I'm looking at more of the grand scheme here. This entire pattern. And this pattern is pretty bullish. Double bottom. Popped up. Gained some value. You're still holding above the downtrend. So really, as long as you stay above this value line here, we should be going higher. Oh, you mean if we go down to 4,000 to fill the gap? No, I think that would be very bullish, actually. Like, it would obviously short-term be very bearish because you have to nuke down there. But filling this gap is very bullish. Because ES and SPY, they don't like pushing into all-time highs with gaps below. They typically struggle. And that's why we're seeing so much of a struggle here. So I think filling this, as long as we fill it and then just kind of hover around that area, I think that's very bullish. And we could easily go back to all-time high. It would be nasty to kind of lose this trend line here. So we would be losing the overall uptrend. But I think any price action filling that gap is bullish. I mean, NASDAQ had a nasty day today too, but this is still very strong. We've had a very good bounce off the lows. We're breaking a lot of resistance. As long as we can stay above like 13.4, I think NASDAQ can also continue higher. Russell looks the weakest because we're just putting in lower highs. Kind of have like a descending triangle almost. Failing VWAP, failing the 50 moving average. If it fails this pivot here, that would be like the last line. And then we would probably go back down. So Russell not looking too good. Dow Jones still looks really strong. Very strong uptrend. Staying above VWAP, above the 20, above the 50. We get above that pivot, 34,650. That would look really good. If ES does pull back, maybe pull back down. Retest VWAP, retest the 50. A lot of support there. So as long as we stay above like 33.6, should continue higher. We lose the 50-day. That would be pretty ugly. We haven't really lost the 50-day in a very long time. Lost it here, quickly reclaimed, didn't lose it there. Didn't lose it there. Lost it there for a few days. Lost it there for a few days. We need ES to bounce back above this pivot, to be honest. There we go, a little bounce coming in. There is a small 5-minute bull div here. You can see we're losing strength on the price, but we are gaining momentum. How's Tesla look? I haven't looked at Tesla today, actually. I know NIO had a really good morning, but then we sold off. So maybe similar on Tesla. Yeah, same thing on Tesla. You had a decent morning right on the open, then we sold off. I like that Tesla is holding this double bottom here. It's also holding the pivot. But there's really no strength here until we start pushing back into like 666, 650. Break above the 21 EMA around 622. But I do like that it is finding buyers. It should not be struggling here, though. If this was a clean double bottom, you would want to see price action kind of like this, where it pushes very rapidly, kind of like a V reversal almost. It should not be struggling. Good example is ES on the 5-minute. Same thing on ES on the 5-minute. You had that double bottom that came in, but then you had that kind of gravestone candle there. When you see double bottoms like this, they should not struggle that early. When it pushes off the low, it should push with strength. It should only start to struggle around where it failed off the first low. So like when you put in the first leg, and then you start to struggle around here, the second leg should not struggle until you get to that area. If it struggles early, then it's very likely going to be weak. Which is why this one went for a new low. You see how this one struggled early? You struggled too early. This one was okay. Because you see how, you notice where this one struggled? This one put in a bottom, pushed up, but then it struggled in the same area. Because that's clearly resistance. So that's okay. This is not okay. This is a lot weaker. These concepts are easier to understand if I had a clean chart here. Like if we had just a price chart here, I could show you. Notice where the bottom's coming in. And then notice where we top out. And then you can see where we fail. Put in a lower high. And then when you go for the same bottom, which is like right here, this should easily push back to here. So any failure, like in that area, is weak. And you're very likely going to put in a new low, which you did. But now it's actually giving us a very bullish pattern. Where you have that low that we put in. We sweep the low, but then we reclaim it. So that's pretty bullish. So like if you were a scalper and this closed like this, you could take this as a long and then stop out like either very, very tight below the level or like kind of below the low. And then you would target the prior resistance, which would be the resistance from this low here. If you scalped that, what would it be? It would be like... Yeah, you can't really put your stop loss down here. It's too far away. So you would have to tighten it up. Probably around like there. Depending on where you enter. So like if you entered on a pullback here, it would be kind of okay. Semiconductors basing at new levels are ready to roll over in H2. You mean second quarter? Oh, you mean the second half? Semiconductors have been coming back a little bit. You had Nvidia. Nvidia had a nice little bounce. The SMH semiconductor ETF is coming back. Kind of a double bottom. You see how it's doing what we were just talking about? Where you have that low. And then you put in the resistance. And then we put in the low again. You see how it's not struggling? It's just doing well. You shouldn't struggle until you get to like up here. So this looks pretty good. Not a very clean daily candle. But that's mainly just because the markets are not looking too good as a whole. As long as the overall trend stays kind of in this impulse up until at least you get to around like 251, it should be okay. This is mainly being led by Nvidia. Nvidia is having a nice move up.
Microsoft is moving up slowly.
Yeah, Microsoft and Facebook have been doing pretty good this week. The second low is higher than the last, so very bullish. What do you mean on SMH? Yeah, it's kind of putting in a it's like a higher leg bulldog. Relatively the same though. If you ignore the extension on this candle, the overall value is here. You have value kind of from there to there, which is basically where we bottomed. Yes, is very weak here. You can see lower high, lower high. This is even a lower high, technically. And now we're failing again on the 5-minute little gravestone. We'll see how this plays out. So like I was saying, scalpers would see this as a very bullish breakout here. So if this immediately sells off again, this is very weak. You could even look at like something like that. It's kind of resting right on the downtrend. Notice how we hit that point there as well. So the trend traders still see this as a weak trend test. Bitcoin's starting to curl a little bit here on the low time frames. So you're going to have a battle of two scalps here. There's a scalp where you could short the trend test. And there's a scalp where you could take the breakout of this failure here. Honestly, I don't know which one I would take. I'd say this one is probably a higher probability because the overall day is very bearish. So the short trade probably has a higher chance of being right here. I'd say the risk to reward is better on the long trade. Probability is better on the short, risk to reward's better on the long. What's up with Viacom? Is just like a permanent sell order hanging at 45 even after the liquidation. They're probably still trying to fucking fix that problem. Because that's not just something that can be fixed overnight. They're probably still doing a lot of balancing, trying to fix the books on Viacom. So I wouldn't be shocked if that continues to look choppy for the next few weeks. Even a few months, maybe. It was a very, very big event. Viacom, Discovery, a lot of the telecom companies got hit. Bitcoin getting a little bit of buy pressure coming in. You're up almost $300 in the past few minutes. Yeah, it's basically what I was saying, Kumar. Like, if you longed this, you could put your stop loss below the low, which is the low of the day. That would give you a kind of a weak RTR. So if you wanted to tighten it up, you could raise it to like right below the level. Somewhere probably around there. But yeah, you could put it below the low. The sell pressure is very strong though, so I think the higher probability trade is the sell. But if you want that bigger move, the higher RTR would be the buy. Because if you took the sell, you're not really going for much. You would probably only go for a new low. Or even like a double bottom. You'd probably go for something like that. This would just be like a really short scalp trade. You wouldn't really be going for much. I haven't scalped ES in a while. I stopped scalping it when it got really choppy. What happened with Viacom? They had a trader that was very, very deep in a lot of telecom companies, and he was very over leveraged, and he basically got liquidated. So it caused all those companies to get wrecked. You can see how the sell pressure is really strong. So the person, if they took that short, they're having an easier time here than the person who took the long. Bitcoin's still climbing. Up about 250 in the past 5 minutes. You see that? The short's having a very easy time. So if you were shorting this on the gravestone, like I said, you wouldn't be going for much. You'd be going for either a double bottom, kind of around there, or just a sweep. These are very basic techniques that I'm going over as well. Just trying to give you guys some little tips. You can use these on any market, really. Where is VWAP here? Let's see. VWAP is way up here. So depending on where you entered, you could have taken profit there. Like if you scalp that move, like if you got a really good entry, like if you somehow caught the top of the wick or somewhere up here, you could have taken profit a little early. If you got a later entry, so like maybe you got in somewhere around here, you'd probably want to go for pretty close to a double bottom, somewhere around there. If you took that long that I was talking about, like I said, lower probability to trade, you would have been stopped out here, or you would have been stopped out on the sweep. What can we conclude if VWAP slope is not steep with price rise? Or it just means you're not getting a lot of volume. That's when you would be looking for like mean reversion strategies. If VWAP is like doing this, well, that's kind of steep. If VWAP's kind of like going sideways, like slowly falling, but price is like way down here, that's like a mean reversion. It would probably come back towards VWAP. This is basically distribution. When you see VWAP kind of, it's like slightly uptrending, but you have a lot of price action kind of chopping through it. It's because it's distributing. This is like a consolidation pattern, right? And then if you lose VWAP or you lose the distribution low, you start to go lower, kind of like where you saw that breakout there. If you're drawing basic levels here, you can see that it's not a very clear level. Let me hide VWAP. If you look at this with a naked eye, there's like one very important level here. And it's basically like right here. You see why that level is important? Because we have that resistance flipping into support. So once you lose that level, notice how we lost that level, and the rest of the day was bearish. So some people might grab this level because like that's the natural high, but that level's not that good. This level's a lot better. Kind of seeing something similar back here. This one is more so resistance though. See if you guys caught this. If you guys saw this level here, then you know what I'm talking about. And then zoom out. And that's kind of where we're headed. So if this follows the trend, that would be a pretty standard target. Around 4167-ish. 4170. I like the 4178 level. I have that marked out on this chart here. Because that is that previous high right here where we broke out. That caused the breakout of the wedge.
Dude, GLD is on fire.
Nice little bounce here on ES. Buyer stepping in.
Deja, did you pick up any metals?
I got in gold.
I've got AG and SLV.
Fucking GLD is the only one I didn't pick up out of all of them.
I got into a gold butterfly today.
I'm gonna wait for a pullback. You can't buy it fucking up 0.85%.
Yeah, gold's up huge. Kind of a similar technique on Bitcoin if you guys are looking for levels that same way. Doesn't give you a very clean level, but basically somewhere around here. You can see how we have that resistance, support, support. That was the breakout point here that we retested, then nuked. And now our resistance again. So if we start holding above that level for like scalping, that would be very bullish. So if you were looking to scalp, and then if you had to draw a trend line here, it'd be somewhere around that same area. So if you broke out of this area right here, you would be breaking the trend and you would be breaking the major resistance. If you guys are scalping, you need to be looking for stuff like that.
Look at AMC, dude, fucking railing into close.
Yeah, AMC and GameStop are on fire today.
I can't buy AMC up here. I'm gonna wait for a pullback down to like the mid 14s.
I'd be careful because it's going to follow GameStop earnings.
When is that? Tomorrow?
I think it's this week.
27th, yep.
And then they're not even related, but they're the two meme stocks. So
Yeah,
if GameStop does very well or very badly, AMC's going to follow. VWAP's holding Bitcoin down right now, guys. We could break above VWAP. Looks a lot better. I'm also doing this to show you guys that you can read charts without any indicators quite easily. You guys get bogged down with a lot of indicators. And you don't really know what you're looking at. If you guys watch my videos, I have a video on this. I used to call it pivots. We don't call it pivots anymore because of the indicator that makes pivots. But this is a lot of buy pressure right here. When you have a zone of like multiple liquidation wicks, especially on crypto, you can kind of draw a zone on where the wicks are overlapping. So like these two wicks are overlapping right here. So if we were to come back and retest that area, there's going to be a lot of buy pressure here because they're going to try to protect the liquidations. So if the buyers lose this level and then it goes to swing the low, you're going to lick all these people. Basically, everybody that longed here on leverage is going to get licked here. Another very important level would be like this area right here. You can see resistance, resistance, flip into support, led to a new high, flip into support, and that's kind of where it got created. So if you lose this level, very likely going lower. 36,000. Internet, looks like you're just drawing out some wedges, right? So you're breaking out of a kind of a broadening wedge bearishly. Yeah, I could see that. Retesting the previous zone as resistance, break out lower.
Hey, is there a way to look at like on Cheddar Flow a way to see like what was like the hottest fucking ticker of the day? Like what
They have
stock
that
closed
one.
almost.
Don't they have that one's like section that shows the
Yeah,
flow?
the power alerts.
I don't think it's the power alerts. There's like a section that like has the green bars, and it tells you like which one has the most bullish call flow. I haven't used it in months, so I'm not sure. But I remember back then, like
Flow
Tesla,
overview.
I think so. It would show like
Might be that.
Tesla had the #1 call flow.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, flow overview. IPOE was
I have that on my
up
scanner as well. It's getting 100,000 calls today.
8.8 million in premium. Second was Tesla. Third was Boeing. Fourth was What is UNH? United Healthcare. Yeah. Oh, that chart actually looks super fire.
UNH.
Yeah.
It's the #1 holding of Dow Jones.
Yeah, it looks fire as fuck.
It's funny, I was calling out those EDU block trades yesterday. Look at that thing today.
What is it?
EDU, it's the Chinese education one that I was calling out yesterday. It was getting a bunch of block trades. It's up
21%.
20% today. I mean, I wouldn't buy that because the chart was dog shit. But it just shows you the block trades when they come in on names like that that you don't typically see on the scanners. There's always some people know something, like always. This thing was flooding my call scanner yesterday, guys, for you guys on stream. And this thing is up 21% today. So if you have a block trade scanner, you definitely want to keep an eye on basically everything on it every day. And then you'll start to realize, like, okay, what's this name? I haven't seen that on my scanner. Because there's some companies that will get block trades every single day, and I just ignore them because there's nothing out of the ordinary. But I've never seen EDU on my block trade scanner ever. And that thing was getting block trades yesterday, and then it ripped today.
Check out GFI, Deja. What do you think?
Another gold company.
Yeah.
It says ADR, so it's a foreign company. Bitcoin getting a sell off here pretty strong. Yeah, I think you're honestly safe to bet on any gold company right now. KGC is one of my favorite ones, mainly because I made a lot of money on it, like my first year trading. I think it was like my first year, yeah. But this thing looks pretty good too.
I already had this charted out. Yep.
Yeah, KGC is a good one. Been around for a long time.
I wish it would have just fucking. If it would have held like. It's catch and resistance on that previous wick from January.
It's got a gap at 875 that I think it's going to fill.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And it's a massive inverse head and shoulders. If you look at the weekly,
Is there options on this thing?
I'm not sure. They've got dividends coming up. Very, very small dividend, though. Uh, 30K lines up with almost everything, email. It lines up with like every technique. Fibonacci, volume profile, just standard horizontal levels. There's pivots around there. So 30,000 should be a very, very strong support. ES still failing this trend line. So if you took that little scalp short, you should have taken profit by now. It can sweep the lows. So you might see a low sweep here. You got 10 minutes left. I think Bitcoin is safe from another liquidation event until you lose that daily pivot, which we bounced off of like pretty much perfectly today, around like 36,800. You lose that, probably gonna go lower. You're also losing the weekly pivot, but the week just started, but it already is not starting out very good. It's losing the weekly pivot at 38.2. So basically, you lose the daily pivot, that's going to be the trigger. There's also a 4-hour pivot here you're starting to lose. And then we have a couple of 1-hour pivots below us. But yeah, pretty much everything points down to 30K down to 26K as the next major support. And then if we lose that area, it could go all the way down to like 23 to 17. What people don't understand is they think because we ran so hard that it can't pull back to these lower numbers. The problem is we ran so hard there is no support. This level that it's bouncing off of right now is the only support. There is no support here. If it wants to blow through 28,000 all the way down to 20,000, it can do that in a day. It literally could do that in one day. That'd be a nasty day. But it would not shock me. There is no value there. If you take a volume profile of that area, so like let's just take a volume profile of this whole area right here. There's nothing there. You have a little bit of value around 27,000. You lose that. There's nothing until you get down to 23,000. And then you lose that. There's nothing until you get down to 19. So you have these two little levels, like right there where the VWAP is. And then like this little ladder right here. Massive gap, massive gap. So if anybody's telling you that you can't blow basically all the way down to 20K, they don't know what they're talking about. Because it could easily go down there.
Look at AMC, Deja. It's gonna close at the highs.
Yeah, it's really clean. I had this drawn out on like, there's like a little triangle that it was in for like April to May. Broke that, put in a little bulldog head. Now we're ripping. It's basically just an ugly ass bulldog, like a giraffe. I don't think we have a name for this. What would this one be? When it has like a pyramid as a back. What has like a triangle back? We already have a turtle, so this can't be a turtle.
A dragon?
What animal has a triangle as a back? I don't think there is one. It's funny, it kind of is a dragon. Like that one guy said the dragon has a tail.
The Stegosaurus, bro.
Stegosaurus.
Stankosaurus?
Dude, nasty day. It's up 19%.
Deja, what do you think of HL?
Let me take a look. It can't be a shark because sharks don't have necks.
They're like that Ed guy from 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah. HL, let me see.
Good.
Big Ed.
Big Ed.
Dude, that monthly chart is fucking choppy on HL. Look at that thing. One of the choppiest things I've ever seen. It looks strong though. You just broke a big monthly pivot.
What do you think of the daily? Or even the 4-hour? Is there a little ascending triangle on the 4-hour?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's trying to put in a ascending triangle, but it's like putting in like another high. If you call this an ascending triangle, the high would be like $9. So like if you break $9, it should be good.
Exactly. I got 896.
Look at the 1 hour. It's respecting the 50 moving average like really well. And you're about to test it.
This thing's selling off pretty hard. A ton of in the money calls came in today on it.
AMC's ripping.
An iguana. Yeah, it could be an iguana actually. Iguanas have kind of a back like that.
Oh wow, look at AMC.
Told you guys, man. Yesterday and this morning. AMC and GameStop. Things were flying.
Yes.
Nobody wants to listen, man. And Stunk. Stunk called it out the day it was breaking out, and he's the fucking AMC king. He called it out on, I think, May 13th when it was breaking that triangle. Look at this fucking thing go, dude. A Stegosaurus, that's probably the closest.
Big fucking source.
For any of you guys with Twitter on your phone, is there any way to turn off those fucking stupid, like, recommendation notifications it gives you?
Oh, dude, those are brutal.
It's ridiculous. And there's no way to, like, because I want to have notifications from, like, people liking my tweets or, like, sending me messages, but I don't want notifications from these stupid recommendation tweets. And there's no way to
Especially
filter
if you
them.
have multiple accounts too. It sends you.
Oh,
on,
yep,
like, multiple
yep.
accounts.
Exactly. We get a lot of them on our Oasis trading account.
Yeah. Yep.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's because we don't use that account, so they're trying to get us to use it. So they send us those stupid recommendations.
Tesla's trying to break.
Your KGC had a $1.1 million block trade today for January 2022.
KGC.
Yeah.
It's a good company. What was this when I bought it? Let me see. It was a long ass time ago. It'd be almost 10 years ago. So what, 2011?
You're above all anchored VWAPs, so you really don't have much in the way.
No, I think it was down here. It was closer to like $4. Went all the way down to $1.40. Jesus.
Yeah, I can't buy gold right now or GLD. It's too pumped.
If you buy now, you just have to treat it like crypto. Just dollar cost average for fucking a long time. Because look at, like, ignore the short time frame charts. Look at the monthly on gold. It's breaking out of a big downtrend. You had a buy the dip signal in March, literally called the bottom, and now we're just ripping. Commodities, you have to look at like the weeklies and the monthlies. Their charts are way cleaner. Like back when I was trading lithium, what was that fucking company? SQM. I bought this because of the monthly breakout in what was it, July. And then look at what that fucking thing did on the monthly. It just went straight up for 1, 2, 3, 4, like 10 months almost. Commodities love their monthly charts. They trend really well. Problem is, who wants to fucking hold that long? But it's what you gotta do. I mean, look at how fucking smooth the monthly chart is on GLD. There's no chop. Trends up, trends down, little bit of accumulation, trends up again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for a pullback on it. I can't. It's too high.
Maybe if it pulls back to retest that pivot on the daily GLD, but that's what it did today,
Yeah.
sadly.
Or if it comes up to the pivot at like 179 and then trades sideways or something.
Yep. There's no weekly pivots, surprisingly. Let me see. On the spot price. No, none on the spot price either.
Gold and silver kind of pumped at the end of the day.
The cleanest trade on gold was that trend line that I was talking about on the summary of markets. On May 19th, it came back to retest that trend line, and it just pumped off that level. The trend line from the 2020 high.
BLF sold off a little today, but it's holding.
How are you getting those signals on your TradingView chart subscription? What signals do you mean? I've got a lot of things on my chart, man, so you're going to have to be a little specific. Silver to Valhalla, please. Yeah, really, dude. I'm in SLV and I'm in AG. How did AG close? Not too bad. If AG clears this daily pivot at 18, it's gonna rip. AG has a lot of resistance up here with the monthly pivots. If it can get above like 19, there's like nothing in its way.
Look at the anchored VWAP on the all-time high candle, holding it perfectly.
For what?
AG.
You mean this like nasty candle in like February?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now we wait for AMC to come back down to retest 14s.
Coinbase didn't have a bad day today, but like I was telling guys in Discord, it tricks you, man. It has a good day and then it just fucking melts. It's been doing that since IPO. So, it's hard to trust it.
What if it's doing the fucking falling wedge IPO meme like Dash
That's-
and Airbnb did?
That's true. We talked about that too. We talked about fucking DoorDash, Airbnb, all the IPOs, Wolf. They all did the same fucking thing. I got looped into Coinbase even though I said it was a bad idea because they released their earnings early and they were disgustingly good. It was like fucking Amazon releasing their earnings. Their user numbers were good, their growth numbers were good, fucking everything was good. And then they still went down on IPO. It's like holy shit.
Dash is, dude, when Dash breaks, it's gonna fucking rip. It's still a massive falling wedge.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a weekly falling wedge. Daily, yeah, definitely. Still in a downtrend.
I got
Alright, clean.
Dash in my long term. Americans are fat and they like their food delivered.
Yep. If you just hold above like 150, 155, this thing will start ripping.
All right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.
Later.
Is Coinbase kind of hedged with Bitcoin? When Bitcoin does well, Coinbase will do well, and vice versa. You would think so, but you never fucking know with this market, man. And Coinbase, if you guys didn't know, was the exact top of Bitcoin. When Coinbase IPO'd, that is the exact top, April 14th. Coinbase literally led to the destruction of the entire crypto market.
Dude, I feel like a scumbag looking at all this gold shit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's better than it's better than doing what Dime and Stunk are doing, buying the actual metal, because you know they're not selling that shit for fucking years.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. You won't catch me dead doing that.
They're not touching that shit for 10 years.
More than 10 years. They'll give that shit to their kids. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be an investment and fucking turns into a bag.
It's gonna be their kids' college fund. Better hope we don't start mining fucking asteroids by then. Have a fucking safe full of gold and silver, and we start mining asteroids, and their shit goes to zero. Apple failing 127 heavy. I didn't really look at Apple today. Big Tech didn't really have a good day today, though. Yeah,
Dude,
this,
what are copper stocks.
I'm not sure, actually. I've never traded copper, I don't think. You guys on stream know any copper names? Somebody said FCX.
B FCX, that's Freeport, right?
Report, yep.
I knew about that one. BHP, FCX, which actually doesn't look too bad. It's pulling back to a daily trend line. SCCO, Southern Copper Company. Dog shit.
Yeah,
And
shit.
then GLNCY.
I think if you
Glen-
want another metal, I don't think copper's the play. I think like palladium. Palladium would probably be decent.
Palladium?
Yeah.
I don't
Let me
even know what
see.
the fuck that is.
Yeah, palladium's been fucking ripping, dude. Type in
What is-
palladium, PALLADIUM. Look at the spot price on that fucking thing. The weekly on it's just been ripping.
On PA1 exclamation mark?
I just typed in palladium and it gave me the.
Dude, this could be a massive trade. Look at the weekly on what I just said. PA1 exclamation mark.
Yeah, the
Pulling
futures.
back to a previous high.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, same chart. If you look at the weekly, it just goes straight up.
What was the one that you said?
That's the same exact chart, pretty much. Yeah, you had the
Oh, yeah,
nasty nuke and COVID recovered, and then we've just been going straight up. It's pulling back to retest the COVID high. There's a big pivot at like 2682. North American Palladium NAP. No, hold on. It's not on here.
TALLSPPP. That's Sprots.
Yeah, PALL. Yeah, pretty much the same chart. GLTR. Precious Metals ETF. I think that's just the metals. I think that takes them all. That's actually not that bad though. Look at the weekly on that thing. GLTR. It's in almost like a weekly bulldog if it breaks out of the like a 105 area. It's gonna rip. AMRK. Dude, look at that thing. Jesus. Would have been nice to get that one fucking couple days ago. That's a big move for a metals company. Went up almost 50% in the past week. What do I think about Seas? Isn't Seas the... Oh, it's SeaWorld. Never mind. I was thinking of the shipping company that's basically a scam. That's not bad. Looks like it's breaking a little downtrend here. Nice consolidation above VWAP, above like 52.50. Seems like they didn't really have a bad earnings reaction. You're still holding above that previous high. Yeah, I'd say as long as you hold above this little cluster below you, it looks really good. You've got a lot of support around like 53 to 52. Very slow and choppy company though. You got to be willing to hold on to that thing for a long time. Yes, closed back inside that daily wedge, which is not good. But we did bottom on the 41.78 level that I gave you guys, almost to the tick. So, still holding support. Doesn't look too bad. But we need to see a strong recovery tomorrow. We've got a big announcement on Thursday. The GDP numbers are coming out. So if the GDP numbers are bad, then we're definitely going down. But all right, guys, I'm going to call it on that. Appreciate you guys being here as always. Make sure to hit the like button on YouTube. I will be streaming again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, same time as always. Actually, I should be. I've got a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So if that runs pretty late, I might not be on at 3, but I should be on at 3. But if I'm not, that's why. So just look for me around 3. If I'm not on, then I'll probably just have to see you guys on Thursday. But yeah, I'll have the analysis posted later today in Discord, probably around, I'm actually not going to be home today, so probably around like 11:30. So look out for that. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Peace.